Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. It's time for Taroscopes. We're going to be doing the Taroscopes for the sign of Gemini. That's Gemini Sun, Gemini Moon, and Gemini Rising. So I'm sitting here, and you can see the wind blowing my hair. It's not because we're doing the air signs, although I figured it looked good with the air signs. And I have my, but it's hot, so that's why it's on. Hopefully you can't hear it. And this is my altar. This is the little Gemini altar I've done. I have my painting of the Gemini. I have this little, they're fake flowers, but they're so pretty. My mother, won it at one of the senior center things, so it's kind of was hers, and she won it, and I know she liked it, so I keep it, even though it's a little bit of a dust collector. But I think it looks good on the altar because the time of Gemini is the time when the flowers start to come in, to bloom. The peonies and the roses all sort of come out at that time. This is roses and hydrangeas. I have a piece of fluorite here, purple fluorite at the bottom. It's hard to see, but it's what's at the bottom here. I have two earrings made of feathers because, of course, that's symbolic of air. I have this little fairy who's a fairy-like butterfly. And I always associate butterflies with Gemini. And so that's my little Gemini homage while we do the Taroscopes. And while we do the tarot, while we do the scopes, and while we pull an oracle card. So let's talk about the astrology first. Now, Gemini is a Mercury ruled sign, and Mercury spends most of the month. Actually, Mercury spends all of the month in Virgo, which is also a mutable sign, and in the zodiac is square square Gemini. And so just that energy alone sort of energizes that first quarter square. So it's very active time for Gemini. Now we start the month with and so there's this feeling the need to take an action as Gemini. And it's really about taking action to clean up your house. There's an energy to clean things out, to declutter, to clear things. Things need to be cleared for this energy. And so we have that, coming in with just the simple fact that the ruler of Gemini, Mercury, is in the 4th house, and it's also the ruler of the Virgo, which is that 4th house. So it just potentiates for that energy. We start the month with a full moon. The full moon is in Aquarius. Aquarius is also an air sign. And of course, when the moon is in Aquarius and full, the sun has to be in Leo. And the sun is very powerful in Leo, actually. So it's powerful. It's a powerful time. It's actually a very powerful time for the sun. The sun in Leo for you is, is in your 3rd house. So, this is the Gemini house in a natural chart. So there's this potentiation of thought. There's this potentiation right off the bat. Big realizations, big aha moments for the Gemini. And it could be aha and great things, or aha and oh boy, I'm in big trouble, right? So the second one is for the Gemini in my mind that I'm thinking, who probably, he doesn't listen to anybody, so I doubt if he would listen to a reading from me. But we know from whom I speak. Voldemort, we cannot name him. Lest we give him power, and he doesn't. He's on the down low. Why waste your energy on him, right? All right. Let's see. So we have this full moon, and the full moon is the axis of the mind, and where the moon, where the sun is in the third house, sort of activating the moon, the feelings is in the ninth house. And so the ninth house is our intuition. And so we have to pay attention, not just to the logical facts, but to our intuitive facility. It's very important that we do that. And Gemini tends to be more logical and fact-based, but this is asking us, all of us really, but especially you guys, to balance that, to balance the reason with the intuition, to allow both things to come into your decision making, okay, and the awareness around that. Okay. It's a very busy, it's a very, very busy first day of the month. We have this full moon that I just spoke of. We also have a trine between Mars and Jupiter. Now, Mars is going to be trining, Jupiter in Taurus, any planet that goes through Virgo is going to trine that Jupiter. But we also have Uranus in Taurus. And so any planet that goes through Virgo is going to be trining that Uranus in Taurus. And we have Pluto also in an earth sign. And so when the planets in Virgo move through, they make a trine to Pluto. And so that trine that we're seeing in Gemini is a fourth, the energy goes from the fourth house to the 12th house. The fourth house is soul, the 12th house is the other side. It's a very sort of nebulous time. So there's this, the veil is very thin. The veil is very thin at this time for Gemini, and that can make you extraordinarily psychic, but it can also like make you a bit crazy. And you just have to be gentle with yourself, because you're taking in a lot of energy and a lot of, in a way, information from levels that you're not used to perhaps working from, unless you're used to working from your intuitive and feeling place. All of the air signs with these trines, with Taurus, the Taurus trines, and the Pluto trines, because they're both in earth signs, this month is getting activated, is the feelings, and it's being activated by earth. And so for most of the air signs, they're going to have to start dealing with their feelings, lest their bodies break down, or their bodies take the brunt, or they feel it in their bodies. Their bodies don't necessarily have to break down, but you can feel that in your body if you don't attend to the necessary healing. Mars is in Virgo. Mars wants to heal things, and the North Node now is in Aries, ruled by Mars. And so this is a real healing time for all of us, really, but especially for you when it comes to your emotional body. Okay. We also have on the day one is an opposition between Mercury and Saturn. Mercury and Saturn show us where the line is, this opposition, where the mind has to stop, perhaps. It's a point of awareness, like how far, what are the limitations of the mind here? That's what we're going to experience, limitation of the mind. For you, Gemini, this is falling in your 4th and 10th house axis, which is the axis of security. You may not be feeling that secure, or you may be asking questions and deciding, when am I going to stop allowing what my family has said to me, or what my coworkers, or what the outer world says about me? And when am I going to start taking my power back? Right? Or when will I concede that there's reality. Reality comes in and says, boom, this is where the line is and you can't cross it. So for Gemini, they may feel that they're somehow restricted through authority, parental authority. And, you know, it could be if your parent may not be around still, but that parental authority can come from the government, or it can come from an authoritarian, the head or the leader, you know, and they'll say this is as far as you can go. But we are going to have later in the month, we're going to have a Mars-Neptune opposition in the same place in your chart. And there's a full moon in that same area of your chart. So while you're being shown the line, beyond that, there's still ability to work and be creative within the limitations that you've been given. You still can, but you know, sometimes you have to limit things, because if you don't limit the creativity, you can just sort of you just never finish. You just never get to the point where something gets accomplished. See, and so that that is what Saturn is, I think, trying to teach the Gemini. Week 2, so that's the first week, first day. The rest of the week is just trying to figure out what just happened on the first with that full moon. And of course, full moons are always sort of like high emotional times anyway. And all the air signs are getting hit in their emotional bodies. And they have to, and it's going to come through, like I said, it's going to come through, or it could come through, it doesn't have to, but it could come through as physical ailment. So we have to pay attention, because probably the physical ailment has an emotional correspondence to it. Yeah, so if you deal with that, you can, it's giving you, and then you could be working with more natural herbal remedies through this, you know, more earth-centered remedies allow the earth to help to heal you of your whatever, you know, your ailments. Or even just, you don't have to take one herb if you don't want to, because you do have to go to somebody who knows what they're talking about, and you have to do your research. You just can't willy-nilly be taking stuff. You have to go to somebody who knows what they're, you know, who has experience and who's studied. It's a vast study, and you want somebody who knows what the hell they're doing, right? But that could be very helpful for you. So week 2, we started with a square of the sun and Jupiter. Sun and Jupiter tend to like expand things like beyond like it's almost like superhuman. It's like superhuman, but there's also an arrogance to it, and overestimating what you can accomplish, right? So be aware of that on the second week. Especially after that first week, you're a little bit loopy, and then you go into the second week and you're like, all right, I'm gonna take this on, you know, like, yes, I can scale, I can watch all the windows in the Empire State Building in 2 weeks. You know, you just think you can do things that you can't do. And for you, it's sitting in your 3rd house and your 12th house, and the 3rd house is your mind, and 12th house is your undoing. So you kind of have to like not undo yourself by these phantasmagorical ideas that you can, you know, that you're superhuman. So get that out. You got to get that out of the picture, because you're just, you know, the higher you go, the further you fall. And we also have Mercury make a trine to Jupiter on that day. And Mercury and Jupiter are the 2 planets associated with the mind. The mind. Mercury is the reason mind, whereas Jupiter is the intuitive mind, right? So, but they're in alignment. There's a flow, and so there's availability to like incredible psychic and intuitive and logical. It makes sense. Things make sense. But you have to utilize it. You have to utilize it. And if you're getting like all like puffed up over something else, then you need to utilize. All I can say is you need to utilize it because it's great. It's a great opportunity. It really is. It's a great opportunity. And it's connected to the sun squaring Jupiter. So we have the sun squaring, we have Mercury trining. This is, a lot, very powerful time for something to come out, for something to be said. Okay. Very powerful. Okay. Week 3, we have the sun and Venus, which is retrograde. And retrograde until September 3rd. In Leo, we have the sun square Uranus. The sun being in Leo, Uranus being in Taurus. So it's very seismic. And we have the new moon in Leo. So for Gemini, that conjunction of the sun and Venus retrograde, Venus at the heart of the sun. What is the heart of the matter? Venus is your heart. Okay? So these Venus sun conjunctions are, especially with Venus retrograde, are very much a deep exploration of our heart. And it's in the sign of the heart, Leo. It's in your head. It's in the house of your head, your mind, and the depth and the feeling of that. And I know when I learn something new or a connection is made in a way I hadn't seen it before, I get this like emotional high from it. And I think we could all get that, the love of learning, right? And that's very much a Gemini thing, the love of learning. The sun Uranus is the 3rd house and the 12th house. The sun in Leo in your 3rd house. And then Uranus in the 12th. But of course, Uranus has been in the 12th for a while. In fact, Uranus has been working from your 12th house. And every time one of the faster moving planets come around and activate from that Uranus, it's sort of a waking up for you. And the 12th house is the other side, is your connection, is the veil. And so you could be having all kinds of information coming and hearing all kinds of voices and all kinds of thoughts flying in your head. And you're like, where's this all coming from? Well, this is where it's coming from. And so you need to figure out how you're going to manage that, because it can be managed. You may not be, there's a point where you have to just let what comes in and not have to understand all of it. Like, put some of it aside, and the light will shine. You will figure out what you're trying to be told. Okay, you will figure it out. And in fact, we have also the new moon in Leo, which happens on the 16th, and so that's in your 3rd house as well. The love of learning, perhaps. So this might be a time when you start your book. Really, whatever it is that you got, whatever project, whatever creative project, writing, communication, letter to the editor, application for school. This is the be a time. Would be a time with this new moon in Leo. Week 4, things we need to start making some adjustments. And we have the sun in a yod. And the sun is in Leo, which is the peak of ego, right? And we have Pluto as one of the arms of the yod. which is in Capricorn, and Pisces, Neptune and Pisces on the other side. So we have this Neptune and Pisces, Pluto and Capricorn, both transformational energies in their own way, putting these in conjuncts and pointing to the sun in Leo. And it's around it's going to be around like 28 degrees of Leo. So if you have something at 28 degrees of Leo in your chart, these planets, or wherever you have 28 degrees of Leo in your chart, these planets are asking for an adjustment in your sense of self. And that could be an increase in your sense of self, or a decrease in your sense of self, like realizing a limitation in some cases, and for others, realizing that they are the limitation to themselves, and as they let go, they progress, right? They progress. So where do you need, like, what is it about how you define yourself? Do you just define yourself by how smart you are? Is that it? And then, everything else gets ignored. She's so smart. She's so smart. Like, you always like depend on the smart. There's other parts of us, smart is good. I love smart. Smart is sexy. Smart is great. But they're a feeling too. Sometimes people aren't that smart, but they're very, very loving. And they just love. They just love. And we need those people too. We need all kinds of people. All kinds of people. All right. So that bears, though, I don't know, whatever I said, it's adjustments need to be made around our egos, especially connected to the mind for Gemini. We have an opposition between Mars and Neptune. Mars is in Virgo, Neptune in Pisces. And so for you, it's again, the 4th and 10th house, the parental houses of taking responsibility for yourself. Okay. Of course, we're dealing with Neptune. We don't really know, like, how big it can get or how realistic it is. So there's a lot of like moving on faith with this energy. And so it's good to move on faith, but you don't want to just depend on faith. You want to make sure that you're doing some of the due diligence that Mars in Virgo requires us to do. You have to do the work. You have to put the time in, right? And this is 4th house stuff. Mars is in the 4th house, so it's family stuff. You have to put the time in for your family. You have to find the forgiveness, the healing, what needs to be fixed, what needs to be said, what needs to be cleaned up, so you can fly, so you can take wings, so your soul can expand and you can become more soulful and live your soul. What's wrong with that? It's so important to just be. We also have a square between Venus and Jupiter, both benefic planets. 3rd and 12th, just, don't overdo it. Just don't overindulge. Don't have too much sweets, things like that. This is the 2nd of 3. So we have time with this energy. And it really is coming to understand, like, what it is you're passionate about. What are you passionate about? And how are you going to take that passion and have it serve humanity in the biggest way possible? That's the question. On the 23rd, the sun moves into Virgo, and Mercury, which is in Virgo, goes retrograde. So it's kind of like a blessing and a curse, or a curse and a blessing, or a little bit of both. It is a blessing. There are no curses. Just so you know. You heard it here first, or you just heard it here because you probably heard it. Well, I don't know if you've heard that before, but I'll tell you, there aren't. We're in the 4th house again, guys. This is also perhaps a good time to just renovate your house. Say you don't have any family issues. Maybe it's time to do some renovation in the house. But it's not going to go smooth. Because Mercury's retrograde. You may have to do things a couple of times. I've been stripping a door. Speaking of doing things a couple of times. And I bought the stripper that's non-toxic and, you know, all that stuff. Doesn't burn, doesn't, you know, can't drink it, but it's not, you know, it's made of like orange peels or something. And it's great, except it takes forever. I think I've done it 5 times. So today I went out and I bought the harsh stuff, you know, the stuff that you need special gloves for, and you have to, you know, throw it away in a certain way. I know, I mean, I have all that stuff. My husband knows how to do all that stuff, so I'm not worried about that. But it was like, oh, this like, just do it over and over again. Okay, sorry, but that's the Virgo part. That's Mercury moving backwards in Virgo. But then we have Mars make a trine to Pluto. Mars is in Virgo, and Pluto's in Capricorn. And there's a flow from the 4th house of the home, family, to the 12th house of spirit, the other side. I don't know if you speak to your dead relatives or not, but they're going to be talking to you. So be prepared. Be prepared. And then we have Mars move into Libra. This is your 2nd house, so you're putting energy into your resources. And then the next day, I think it is, or the last day of the month, I think there's a couple of days between Mars moving. I think Mars moves into Libra, and then 2 days later, we have the full moon. And the full moon's in Pisces. And so the axis of home and the outer world, home and family, career, public standing. It's as if that full moon brings something to a head. And it's a head that needs to be brought to, because it's a healing. It's a healing. It's family healing. It's a soul healing. It's a purposeful, being on your purpose healing. Yeah. So it's a powerful month. Okay. That took a little bit longer than I expected, but I never really know what to expect, so I shouldn't really say that. Sometimes it's long and sometimes it's not. The Leo one just kept going on and on, but stuff kept coming out of my mouth. So you just have to kind of go with it, because it's mostly channeled anyway, honestly. Even though I have a vocabulary and a way of understanding the astrology, and a lot of what I say comes through me more than from me. All right, I have to grab the cards. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I've been pulling a oracle card. I'm using the, whoops, what am I using? The Spirit Animal Oracle deck by Colette Baron Reed. Whoops, sorry, Colette. Here we go. It's really a lovely deck. The art is beautiful. Even the back of the cards are beautiful. And it's one of the better animal decks. The originals, of course, are the originals, the medicine cards and the like. Ted Andrews' work, Animal Speak, Nature Speaks, learning how to read the signs of nature. You know, the way that the omens. So this is a good deck. So I'm just going to shuffle it up, and then I'm going to pick one, and it's going to be for Gemini. And then we'll do the tarot, and we're going to be using the Thoth deck for the air signs this month. All right. Brown bear spirit. Take time out. Take time out. Yeah, you've got some really deep emotional stuff you're moving through this month. You really should be taking some time off. Okay, or time out. not necessarily off. You can be out. In fact, I'm going to put brown bear right over here, walking through the portal, right? See if I can move it over a little without. Uh-oh. Ah, good, right? That looks, yes, it's like the bear's coming through the portal. Love it. Oh, okay, now I gotta read it. Wait a minute. What do they do with the book? Oh, Lord. Lordy. Brown bear. Okay. I have the book. Am I reading it upside down? Oh, no. Okay, good. Just wasn't getting to it. Okay, brown bear spirit. Take time out. There is time to act and time to focus your attention on patient strategizing. The arrival of brown bear spirit signals that you are best served by foregoing hard work toward your goals at this moment and instead taking the time out to meditate or just take a nap so you can refresh yourself and begin planning what you want to co-create next. Come to know the lay of the land as you contemplate and imagine what you might do in this vast space of possibilities before you, and begin forming a plan. Remember, sleep allows for dreaming and rest allows for clear-headed strategizing. How might you become the person you wish to be and experience whatever your heart desires? Insights will arise as you explore the possibilities and begin envisioning your plan. Knowing what you want will ensure your energy, use your energy wisely, in the days ahead. Be patient at this time, relax and be calm and peaceful so you can recharge. The call for action will come later. So this is a time of rest, says the bear. Okay, let's see what the Thoth deck has to say. All righty. Okay, one of Ona's bags that she made for me that I put my cards in. Thank you, Ona. She's so generous. She's such a generous person. Okay. I just have to shuffle these. They're kind of big and they've always been stiff. I don't use them that often. And they usually come out when there's something that really needs to be obviously said. So, and it's funny because I don't use them often, but when I do use them, I tend to remember what I said, which I don't always do, you know, because you're a channel, you're channeling the information, you're not maintaining it. It would be too much to remember. Okay. Let's see, Gemini. So, justice is here. The feminine energy of justice. The Queen of Swords makes her decisions. She's been through it all. She has learned what she needed to learn from her feelings and her emotions. This is very much a sort of, I talked about the air signs feeling, having to heal and feeling their pain through their bodies. I feel like a decision has been made here. A decision has been made. And somebody has lost their head over it. Somebody has lost their head over it. What crosses that? Emotional pain, disappointment, realizing that all is lost, but it's not really. All isn't lost. There's still two cups here that you can't see the inside of. They could be full. These two cups up here. The two cups closer to spirit, perhaps. But this is about disappointment. It's about emotional, about sadness. This vibration is the 45-9 vibration, which is the vibration of the last Republican president. Underneath it all, the Gemini card, it all has to do with your choices. What have you chosen? You're being held responsible because of your choices. Now, for some people, it's bad news. But I imagine for you, it's not. Because you learn from your pain and you make a different choice, right? Ruin, something is done. End of story. The line has been put down. You cannot, this is as far as you can go, and you can go no further. It's over. And that's something that is coming for August. It would have come by August. Sorry. August. I'm doing this in July. I do it ahead of time so I can get all 12 done. Yeah, but by the time we start August, whatever is done, and you're going to go on to something else. In the sky, your soul's true path, guys. Your soul's true path. Whatever has been left in the lurch, or whatever had to end is over, and it's okay, because it's good for you to do your life's work, your path, your soul. It's available to you. This is the immediate future. Now, I just have to say what I'm getting, and this doesn't have to do with all of you Geminis. I'm getting that we have somebody who, the King of Swords here, which is normally, justice. And this could be justice. This could be Jack Smith, I think, who's also a Gemini. And these can be his prosecutors. And he is wielding the sword of justice. So if you happen to be of popular Gemini, there's one that was president. There was one that was the mayor of New York. There's one that's the head of China. I don't know what Netanyahu is. I don't know if he's a Gemini. Set a pacemaker for them. But there's this energy of like soldiers marching and things working out because it was planned. So depending on who this is and what the plan is, and whether this is the sword of justice or sword of retribution, that energy's out there. That energy's out there. So what I would say to you, as not being the person that I'm thinking of, and I can't stop thinking of because it's like coming through that way, but if we want to apply this to you, we of course don't have to go to these extremes. That would be ridiculous. We don't have to go to extremes because you're not at the extreme, right? You're just living your life, doing your thing, right? And so this is a month where you just have to be really organized, really careful, really think about what you're doing, and delegate. Don't take on all the responsibility yourself. That's what this card is telling me about you this month. How other people see you. Don't take it personally. What kind of fool am I? So the fool is a fool, is a clown, but the fool is also very wise, because the fool is like, well, we'll come around again. The fool understands the cycles. It's the nothing and the everything, the zero, the nothing and the everything. So it's important with this energy to laugh. Laugh, and it's okay. This people can also see you as taking a leap of faith, deciding that I'm done with this and going on to the next thing. And that takes a lot of courage. Some people might call it foolishness. Some people might call it courage. Okay, so this is the domestic situation. We have the Tower. It's a realization. It's an enlightenment. This is a powerful reading. We have the Chariot and Lovers and the Fool and the Tower and Swords, the Queen and the King of Swords in this. Okay, so I didn't want to do this. This looks like Fonnie Willis and Jack Smith are going to both come down on Trump. That's what this looks like. All right, let's get out of Trump land, because I don't really want to be in Trump land, but it's coming through. So I figured you'd want to know. And I apologize if you don't want to know. Hopes and fears that you can hide away. Hopes that your knowledge and your wisdom can get you through this dark period. It's okay. It's always darkest before dawn. It's always scary when you're doing something new, putting yourself out there, getting out of your comfort zone. It's scary. But you can do it. You're strong enough. The Hermit is the part of wisdom. And this is the end. I mean, this was quite the journey to get here. The Three of Pentacles. This is about finding work that's fulfilling. It's about doing what you love. It's about going with the wheels of creation instead of always trying to like stick sticks in and stop things. And it's about getting the wheels moving again. Getting the wheels moving again. Let's see if we can get a major arcana. We have oppression, too much on top of you. We have love. And the Princess of Cups. So there is a feeling of overwhelm here. It's understandable. These are not easy cards, Gemini. But it does, indicate that underneath we have the King of Cups. We have peace, Four of Swords, and we have the Queen of Cups. So this is emotional healing. This is all in the service of emotional healing. because we have to get better, because there's a lot of work ahead of us. That's true for all of us, not just you, Gemini. So don't feel picked on. Don't feel picked on. Well, that's what it said. So fluorite, which is the stone there, helps to align your energy body. It comes in a variety of colors. That's purple. Sometimes you'll see the purple and green and clear fluorite together. I've seen yellow fluorite. It's beautiful. I like fluorite. I really do. Green and red. You usually see the green and purple together. That's the one you usually see most often. But that is, and it's a big hunk of fluorite. And you see, and now you can see it. And this is my moss agate that I love. I'm really, really attracted to moss agate. I've always been attracted to moss agate, but it's like I'm craving it now. So I put it on the altars, even though I often associate it with earth, but why not air? It's got bands in it, right? Earth and air, maybe. I should check that out. That might be true. I have books on crystals that I've had for 30 years, so I can look. So, all right, guys, have yourself a great month. It doesn't look like it's going to be easy, but it's going to get you where you need to go. Honestly. And, take the time that you need. Rest. Jeez, rest. There's a lot of that 12th house, 4th house stuff is so, it's you just need to like, just let yourself be nurtured. There's self-nurturing, but you could also get nurtured. So don't forget that you can do that as part of therapy for your August. All right. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful month. Like and subscribe. If you like my work, you can contact me for a reading. There's a link below. I do 90-minute and 60-minute readings. I like the 90-minute reading if it's our first reading. It's a combination of astrology, your astrology chart, your numerology chart, and your tree of life in your Kabbalah. It's really a real, like, it's like almost like a 3-dimensional look at you, to see your potentials, to see where maybe the healing needs to happen, what needs to change, what needs to, what's your purpose, all of that stuff. So if you're interested in that, there is a link below. If you like my work and you want to support it, I do have a Patreon page. I think it's called Dr. Vicky at the Seeds. But there's a link below. You could do $5 a month. I mean, whatever. If you can, you can. If you can't, I understand. And if you can't do that, just give me a like, right? Put your thumbs up and share me. I just reached 10,000 subscribers, and that was a big deal for me. Not for some other people, but for me, it was kind of a big deal. And I'd like to continue to share this time with you, because this is like so much fun, and it's really what I love to do. And I always say, do what you love and love what you do. So here you go. All right, everyone, take care. Much love. Namaste.